Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos, Fathomless, D&D Podcast set in the World of Fierlor. I'm your Dungeon Master, Dari. Joining me as always are Mitch, playing Nurse, Jake, playing the Fishman, Joe, playing Alton, Laura, playing Janice, Zoe, playing Lorraine, and Eddie, playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. Let's jump into it. Left off, we got a bit more of an insight into folks' pasts, or in Neris's case, futures, before someone, namely Alton, noticed something a little off about his surroundings and discovered a strange creature skittering around, and after attacking it, woke up back on board the Polaris. Alton, what do you want to do? You see this spider-like creature with this brain-like structure external to it, crushed on the ground, splattered out with what looks like sand, almost like it doesn't seem like blood in and of itself. It's more akin to if you were to squish a mosquito and its blood reserve that it's drunk up has burst out. Almost as if this sand substance, whatever it may be, is what the creature was feasting on, or at least the way it processed it after the fact.
Alton kind of looks at this thing, trying to comprehend what has been happening, and he crouches down beside it, almost reaching out to touch it before he thinks better, and grabs some sort of object to kind of like scoop it up with, see whatever is nearby. As he looks around the room, he almost seems to fade in between the current dingy, kind of barren room with this artificer's tools littered all about, and another older room, the one tucked away in Ether's clinic, dingy, dark, full of medical in it. He looks down as he clutches his abdomen, and it almost feels like for a moment that he still has this cord and these organs existing outside of his body. But then he looks down and they are sewn in, as they have been for many years. So he holds this little creature closer to his face. I'm assuming he's never seen anything like this before.
Roll me an Arcana check. You're probably correct in that assumption, but just on the off chance.
I reckon. Oh, I forgot my Arcana was so high. That's still not a good roll. That's 14.
14. No, it's not something that rings a bell at all. It's not resembling anything you've ever read about or encountered.
What the fuck are you? Did you cause all this? Did you get into my head? I'm right. Let's hope there aren't any more of you fuckers around.
And he'll throw this like thing into like a little pouch, and he will grab his coat, which has been protected magically by the Sphinx, and just kind of chuck that over, just like the kind of casual clothes he was wearing as bed clothes. He spares a glance at Rat, who was curled up at the foot of his bed, and looked a little bit disturbed, like they might have been having a bad dream themselves. And then he is going to head out and go and knock on Fishman's door, just right beside him, the room beside. Fishman, you awake? Got a little bit of a problem. Is everything okay?
As Fishman.
Yeah, there is no response.
And it's also quite commonplace or common understanding not to disturb Fishman when he sleeps.
Shit. Well, okay, he's a heavy sleeper.
He'll stride down the hallway, and as he goes by, he'll knock on the Wren's door, and then he'll knock on Janice's door and call out, the Wren, Captain, is everything okay? There's been a strange issue.
Again, no response.
Oh, come on.
Right. He will try the handle of Janice's door. Would it have been locked?
Would it have been locked, Laura?
Probably not, no.
So, you enter Janice's room, and amongst the obvious, the usual that you see, upon Janice's bed, you see resting by his shoulder, at the head of the bed, latched on by a couple of those spindly, spidery legs. One of these creatures.
Oh, right. Okay. Not just me. Right. I didn't specify that he grabbed a weapon. All right. One moment, Captain. Back to my room. And he's going to just quickly grab all the weapons that he can available. He's just going to grab his pistols. He's going to grab some daggers. And then he'll just grab, like, I don't know, a chair or something, because he is really the worst person for this, being a completely ranged fighter.
Oh, yeah.
I do not want to shoot anyone in the head. Yeah, and then as he goes by, he's going to try to kind of just like fling open Fishman's door and Lorenz, if Fishman's is locked.
Is Fishman's door locked?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so Fishman's is locked, so you are unable to immediately open Fishman's door. Loren's door? Is Loren's door locked?
Lorenz is not locked, but she did, before going to sleep, put a create business card on the door that says no Nereus allowed.
I love that, like, because of the nature of the spell create business card, there are potentially dozens, if not hundreds, of people who you have given business cards to before that just currently have a card that randomly says no Nereus allowed on it.
They need to know as well, actually.
Okay. So Loren has that same thing. If you were to enter her room, you would see the same brainy spider-like creature.
Yes. I forgot to write my note. What was the code word again for Fishman? I also never actually understood entirely what it was for.
Yes, so I was just thinking this before when you knocked on the door. I don't think he's actually had the time to prep his door with magic mouth, unfortunately, because it's just been one thing after the other. There's been like, this is like the first bit of downtime we've had, so he hasn't really had time. The code word is somewhere out there. I can probably find it. You'll just have to give me a bit, sorry. But yeah, it was something along the line. It was like Elvish for friend.
Ibris.
Hond Ibris.
Hond Ibris. Okay.
Hond Ibris. That's it.
I'll redo this now.
I'm going to add that to his character sheet.
So seeing that, giving a quick yank on the door, seeing that it is locked towards Fishman's, Alton will just call out, shit, yonder Ebrith, Fishman, are you okay?
I guess whilst you might assume the little kind of, I can't remember what its actual name is, but it's basically a slit at eye level that Fishman can use to open. Whilst you might expect that to open, it does not, and there is no sound. I'm assuming he cannot hear what's going on in the outside world.
I would assume so. Okay. So then he goes, and as he runs by, he'll fling open Loren's door and quickly look and see the creature there too, and be like, oh great, it's just everyone, all right. But continue his trajectory onto the captain's door. Okay, so this creature, is it latched onto Genesis' neck?
The shoulder.
The shoulder. I guess, I don't know, Alton doesn't know whether touching it would be an issue, would cause, like, that's how its magic works. So he's just gonna kind of grab like a bed sheet or something to use as a barrier, and then just try to physically grab it first. See if he can just pull it straight off.
Okay, roll me a strength athletics check.
Yeah, that's a 12 minus 2, that's a 10.
10. So you almost momentarily, like, it's a struggle. You momentarily, though, almost think you've got it as you see the talon-like protrusions at the end of the legs pulling out of the flesh of Genesis' shoulder. And as they do, you see these thin blue, light blue, almost cubes of magic with a thread of sand going through their center. But it's, with its other legs, it's just got too much of a grip, and your strength is not enough.
Shit. All right. Well, if it's putting all its force into hanging on to Janice, can I just get one hand, hold it, and then kind of just cut at it with the dagger with my other one?
You
hack
can,
sideways, hack its legs off.
yeah, you can try. roll an attack roll with your dagger.
Alrighty. Oh my god, that's terrible. Oh, that's a 13.
13 does hit.
Okay, cool.
So roll me a dagger attack.
That's 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay, so you've done 6 damage to this creature. So Janice, where you find yourself back in what we know to be your past, there's a pain in your shoulder momentarily, that almost if something was torn from it.
Oh. And he sort of stops in his walk towards the docks and grabs his shoulder, sort of just like twinges it for a moment. It's strange. Would make more sense if he'd actually fought back well enough. No matter. Onward to my destiny.
And yeah, as you continue on towards the docks, you run into, like, you have someone approach you and go like, "You there, boy?
Yes,
You look like someone who fancies the adventures of the high sea."
I certainly do. As you can see, I'm fit, able, well experienced, looking to make my fortune on the seas.
Well, experience, you say. Well, how do you fancy yourself a little bit, shall we say, free enterprise?
Oh, free enterprise. Is it the sort of free enterprise that allows us... why am I even asking? Yes, absolutely. No, let's go. No questions asked. Sure.
Well, come along with me, boy, and we'll get you introduced to the crew.
Excellent.
Name's Hawkins, by the way.
Hawkins, is it?
Hawkins.
Hawkins. Ah, Hawkins, yes. Wonderful to make your acquaintance. I'm sure we'll become firm friends.
Your name, boy?
Janice. That's my name.
Come with me, Janice.
From out beyond the Vales, you see. Been traveling for a while, looking for a good ship, but the sort of work, I don't mind. Let's go.
Well, number one thing you need to know, Janice, is
Yes.
just, if anyone asks, always act like you're supposed to be in the place you're in.
Oh, of course. I've got good experience on that already.
And, well, see this ship we're on, we need a face for it. Someone asks if you're the owner of this ship, you look about the right type that we need.
Sort of like a leadership position. A fake one, of course.
Yeah,
Like-
more like a more palatable face, shall we say.
Well, I certainly do have a palatable face. I guess it's your lucky day.
I guess it is.
Vibes are rancid. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
This is a 19-year-old man. It's like, yeah, this is great, actually. I'm really good at making good decisions in my life, and
Yep.
it certainly will be.
Yeah, and yeah, Hawkins takes you to the ship, introduces you to the crew, and yeah, you roll me an insight check. Like, while you do so, it is a very nice ship, well appointed, pretty new looking,
Looks great.
very well made.
Haven't seen it around that often around the docks.
No.
Well, it's a new ship, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the insight? 12.
12. You have a feeling that these aren't the kinds of people who have a ship this new or this nice, generally.
This really is a wonderful ship. You certainly are. What lucky. How long have you been having your the business operations that you're running?
The captain says to you, well, business operations we've had for quite a while now, probably about 5 years. The ship is a, shall we say, new acquisition.
Oh, then a splendid one she is.
And at the call of new acquisition, the others on board have a bit of a laugh at that.
Yeah, it's very funny.
So, those guards over there, they are probably at some point going to ask who owns this ship.
Oh, and it's me, is it?
Yeah, well, it's me. But for
Yeah,
their
but I
purposes,
tell them that it's me.
Yes.
Of course.
yes.
I wouldn't just jump straight into that sort of thing. No, absolutely, excellent. Anything else you need? Any things moved around or?
Whatever name
Why
they
couldn't
assume
they
is
do it small
yours,
repair?
whatever name they assume is yours, it's yours.
Oh, of course. Excellent. Fantastic. Well, I am pretty good at telling stories.
It's,
I seem some minor disagreement or something like that.
you could say it like that.
Good, excellent, very funny. Well, no worries. I will do my best.
Okay. And while the rest of the crew sets up the ship, readying it to leave port, do you do anything in particular, Janice?
So I suppose Janice readjusts the little bundle of his things, kind of has a little look around, takes a moment to sort of write in his diary something like, wash away the old and bring in the new, carve my future, and then puts his journal back in his little hip pouch and sort of puts his hands on his hips and looks around. It's like, yes, I get used to this. Out into the sea, into a new life. And then I suppose he probably will try and chat with some of the other crew, but I assume they probably don't give him much time of the day.
Yeah, not really, no.
Yeah, and Janice is not very bright in these regards, but he understands well enough. Oh, okay, well they're at work. I'm not gonna step in. I'm here to learn. And he turns and takes one last look, or sort of tells him. He sort of turns and just contemplates the bay and the grand house on the hill, and contemplates that will soon become his past, and something else entirely will become his future.
Huh?
He just stands and waits, and hopes he looks presentable.
And on the thought of something else entirely will become his future, we are juxtaposed by his, at that time, future, in reality, present, being unconscious in bed with a brain spider on his shoulder, as a drow is trying to cut it off him, and the creature tries to attack you back, Alton.
Okay, bring it.
Let me roll.
I wouldn't have my armor on.
Oh, that's a what is its modifier? That is a 23 from a natural 19.
Oh, just.
Jeff, you are unarmored, sir.
Yeah. Alright, what does it do?
So, this creature does 5 points of slashing damage, and I am going to need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So is it kind of biting my hand?
Yeah, so it's biting out at you
Oh
in
gosh.
defense
Understandable.
as you cut into its leg.
I don't have anything to change saving throws. That was just a 10.
Okay. You're going to
Is it a poison or putting me?
16 points.
That's just damage.
16 points of force damage, and you have disadvantage on the next roll you make.
Okay.
As it drains potential timeline.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, as it drains potential.
Don't you even try. You get off him and you leave me alone. Just die already. For now, he's just gonna try to stab it again.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a 26.
26. Okay. Roll me damage.
6 points of damage again.
Okay. Your core class is fighter. You get another attack.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I do. Of course. All right. So he's kind of stabbing at it. Probably a bit not being as careful not to hit Janice, but still trying. That one's a 15 to hit.
15 will definitely hit.
And 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. So
Slashing at its face wildly.
all right. So it is It seems to be barely hanging in there as you are cutting into it. The brain portion lacerated, like the legs barely clinging on to the central structure, but still conscious, still draining away Janice's time. So, and as it goes to its turn, that's another natural 19. So this time, not as good, but so, that was the wrong dice for that attack. This is 6 points of slashing damage as it bites at you again, and then does a Oh no, I'm not rolling for the second one. Can you roll me a wisdom saving throw again?
Yes. That's even worse. That's a 5.
A 5. Okay, so again, you take. This time it's only 4 points of force damage, and again, your next action is taken with a disadvantage.
Right.
But this thing is barely hanging in there.
Just got his teeth or whatever is just gripped into Alton's hand. No, just die, okay? He grabs this metal contraption, spark, and flicks a switch and it starts sparking electricity. I'm gonna try to use a shocking grasp on it.
Okay, that's a roll to hit, so at disadvantage.
That's a 14 to hit.
14 still hit.
Fantastic. So that's 17 points of lightning damage.
So you fry this thing as basically shock roasted spider and brain. It just slumps over Janice's shoulder. It is still lodged into the shoulder where it was, but it is a lot more limp than it was before. So you get the feeling that you basically would only need to pull it out.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't take much effort at all.
I don't know if there's proper medical things he's supposed to do with this, but Alton is just going to pull it out. He will do whatever the correct procedure would be.
Okay. Yeah.
Captain, Janice.
Correct procedure. So roll me a wisdom. No, not a roll me a medicine check.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
For Alton to know the medical facts that I don't. That's a 22.
Okay. Yeah. So you easily are able to pull it out at an angle that isn't gonna sever anything important.
Yeah.
Or cause any more significant lasting damage that shouldn't otherwise happen. Janice, as you bring back to life or to consciousness, you take from your combined injuries 4 points of piercing damage.
He immediately sits up and is like fists raised, arms flexed, and just looks around. What? Who is it? What's going on? Oh, blast! Just choked it. He grabs his shoulder.
Janice, Captain. Thank goodness. Listen, there's a creature attacked me. I think that's attacking everyone on the ship.
Oh, and he looks at the bits of this creature that's splattered everywhere. Good God, what's the status report? Where are the other creatures? Have they infested the ship? How many of them are there?
I've seen there's one currently attacking the Bren. I cannot get into Fishman's room. I haven't checked anywhere else. I thought I'd try to save you first.
No, yes, good man. He pats him on the shoulder. All right, we need to find out how many there are and we need to secure the ship. How dire do you think all this is? He does again and grab his shoulder, and then very quickly pats it to sort of staunch it for a moment, and then just really quickly reaches over and puts his shirt on.
I'm not sure. I mean, they seem to have some effect on the mind, and they have nasty little bites on them.
Okay, well, strange. Who knows how they got on the ship? The only problem is, that's not a question we need to ask. We need to figure out how to get rid of them. Okay, Loren's being attacked, you say?
Yes.
Is there a safe way of removing them? Or do we just kill them?
I just killed them.
All right, then. I'll get into Fishman's room.
I can try picking the lock.
Try picking the lock, then go find Neris.
On it.
I'll get Loren, and I'll go find Gulut. And he pretty much just jumps off his bed, which is a little hammock, by the way. Almost skids on some of the disgusting whatever the hell that bug thing is with Sarah, and then just suds out of the room.
And you notice as you're stepping on the viscera, part of it feels almost like stepping on sand.
Yeah, so he does skid.
Yeah.
Takes a short breath, but then immediately goes into action mode, and so he's going to head right over to Fishman's room.
So, in the meantime, we're going to jump into one of these timelines. We're going to jump into Neris. So, where we last left you, you had been working out the location of the orrery. Oh, we have lost Joe.
The bug got Joe.
Oh no.
So,
The sand
You
got
got muted
everywhere.
again, by the way, Joe.
Sorry, my video. The bug crawled out of my pocket and killed me.
all right.
Recovered well.
All right. So, yeah. So you are looking at working out where would you determine is home.
So I think there's a few. I think that kind of stumps Neris for a little period of time, where he's just thinking about all the places that he has referred to as home in his time. And then I think he's pretty much narrowed it down to either his essentially his birth home, where he spent his childhood learning how to control, empower, lies some of the magic that is around him. And then he thinks to his time on all the different ships that he's served on. So, and there's always been one constant that's been with him that whole time, and there is this small collection of items that he's been taking with him, and he thinks potentially that could be home. Potentially that is something that he's had with him this entire time, because that would be potentially the last place he would look. This almost like chest of knowledge and lore that he's tucked away inside a little box on a bookshelf on the ship that we're currently serving on. But I think it could either be one of those two options, and I think Neris will try and figure out, because in this timeline that Neris is currently dreaming of is, what ship are we serving on? Is this still the Polaris? Is it...
The time for names of ships has long since gone. Ships these days in the wars of gods, when the mortal folk venture out, often get destroyed so quickly into their existence that there is very little point of old-fashioned sentimentalism to name them.
And I think Neris has essentially narrowed it down to his old family home. There was when Neris was younger, when he would feel alone, there was a small park that he would run to and find solace in, and he could hide amongst the trees, and he could read books, he could find his own stories in the deepest crevices of his mind. And one day, while sort of exploring deeper and deeper into this small group of trees that would grow larger and larger in Neris's small frame, he found there was a little, not quite a cave, but like a something dug out, a little safe haven dug out underneath one of the old elm trees there. And that's where he would go and hide. And he would dig it out a little bit more. And occasionally he'd go and it would be dug out a little bit more from someone else who was using it as a safe haven, potentially another one like him. And I think while his family home is technically where he grew up, that small little hole in the ground is where he felt most at home and most like himself. So I think that's where he probably thinks would be the safest place to hide something, because it was the safest place to hide him.
So, thinking upon that, you know that you may not have much time or resources to do this. You may not get another opportunity. So you gather everything that you need to attempt this spell, and you teleport yourself to where you have deduced the location of this orrery. You find it, you pick it up, and you begin the incantations that will allow you to go back. Something goes wrong. Something strange, but you don't you didn't account for. Roll me an intelligence check. Actually, an arcana check.
Is this from the character sheet from this particular character?
Actually, that is a good point. So, your arcana check as level 20 narrows would probably be a plus 18.
It is plus 17 on what I've got at the moment.
Oh, plus 17.
Feels that.
Yeah, sure.
That is 29.
20. Okay. So, so there's something wrong. It's almost like there's something wrong, not just with the spell, but with the nature of time itself, the amount of time that you have spent studying the magic of chronomancy. There's something off here. Almost as if time, by you casting this spell, it's almost like time is being folded in and like folded into itself in a way that it was never supposed to. And by all your calculations, this is not how this spell should be working. You find your mind almost fragmenting into as your current present self. You feel diverging between that and a younger self, a brain with spider legs jumping out of it, clawing into your shoulder. You feel that pain in your shoulder, but the pain in your head is so much worse as you feel like roll me an intelligence saving throw.
That's a 31.
31. So you become aware of what is happening. Your present is not what your present is not your present. Your present is some far-flung vision of the future being provided by this creature, almost as if it is feeding off of it. You're able to while your mind of the genius, the ascendant genius at this point of the future Neris is kind of deteriorating back to your original, your actual present timeline mind. You're able to grab bits and pieces from it and get, this thing in my shoulder, this is some sort of chronal parasite. This, like, it is eating away at my timeline, but something is going wrong because of my own nature, my own studies, and the fact that your timeline, with what you were about to do, what you know you have done or will do, has folded in on itself and it has confused the fuck out of this creature's biology and arcane functionality. And as your mind feels as if it is being ripped apart, you see the creature on your shoulder burst in this explosion of sand, and that sand settles and you lose track of it amongst all the other sand that surrounds you as the aftermath of casting this spell, as you find yourself in this strange but familiar space, almost akin to being in a giant hourglass that you have been in before in a vision. And you look out towards the horizon and you see a figure, a familiar figure, a figure you remember being. You see your younger self. What do you do?
I think there's a moment where I look down at myself, my present, my future, and then up again at the surroundings, and I remember being here and being spoken to by myself. And I know that was a very formative moment for my younger self. So I think I'm going to approach Neris, and
you notice a look that you don't recall having the last time you were here cross over his face. One of concern and fear as he looks upon your face.
Is this fear for himself or fear for me? Fear of me?
It's hard to tell for certain.
Can you understand me?
I understand you.
Do you know who I am?
What have you done to me? What path have you taken that has created such a warping on the fabric of time?
The path I thought was right.
Paths of aberration.
What do you see when you look at me?
I see converging time rates. I see age and time coursing in and out of you. I see it on your face. And it is evident. And you notice as he says this, glancing down at your hand, which is in this moment ungloved. It is flickering, rushing through time in multiple directions. It is aging, it is de-aging, it is jumping, it is progressing. It does not stay of the same time for more than a few seconds at once. And instinctively you put your hand to your face and you feel your beard do the same. Like the hair upon your face varying wildly in length from one moment to the next, as if you are being torn and ripped through your own personal timeline in this one moment.
I do not know what has happened to me. I do not know if there is an end to this.
Like that, you are conscious in your room. Pile of sand over you from where the creature burst open from overfeeding, and the ship is eerily quiet. That's when we're going to have to take a pause. Back on the Spirited Gull, Alton, you had made your way to... whose room was it?
Fishman's room.
So,
Pick
so
that
fish...
lock.
Yes. So roll me a Thieves' Tools check.
Hey, so would that just be proficiency?
So you're proficient in Thieves' Tools? Yes. Then, yes. So it would be proficiency plus your dexterity. So you should be quite good at this, even though you rarely do it. 23. Yeah, I would say, Fishman, you haven't done anything like an arcane lock on your door, just the standard lock?
The door is reinforced, but that's mainly from the inside, not from the outside. Yeah, so nothing special to the door in arcane means.
Okay. So the lock unlatches, and you are able to open the door. So how is the door reinforced from the inside, Fishman?
I think when I first described it, it is just an unnecessarily thick door with, in this case, because I believe we could fashion the door, the room how we wanted. Yeah, sure, it's got a metal backing. And then you can see the other side with almost like a latch mechanism, a way to slide open that little rivet in the door, that little slit where Fishman can open it up and see who's on the other side.
Yes, given how heavy the door is, Alton, roll me a strength check.
Oh no. If I fail against a door, this is going to be so embarrassing. Oh, all right. That's an 18, so that's a 16.
Okay, yeah, no, that is fine. Just as long as you didn't get particularly low, but I just thought with a -2, there was always a chance.
Yeah.
As heavily reinforced as this door is. So, yeah, you push the door open, and you see Fishman on his bed, one of these parasite things on his shoulder.
Oh, no, you don't. Right. Get a taste of this.
And seeing the success of the shocking grass, he's going to turn on the little... he'll spark up the little appliance thingamajig he has, and he's going to try to strike at the creature attacking Fishman.
Yeah.
Before that happens, can I also point out that once you do get close to Fishman, you can see something quite uncharacteristic about him.
Yeah.
As you get closer, you can see that whilst his demeanor is calm, you see tears flowing from otherwise incredibly peaceful and calm eyes.
And you're free to roll now, but as you arc up your lightning, your electricity, we're going to delve into where Fishman is in this moment mentally. Fishman, you're within the endless ocean, and it is only you and Uthron remaining.
Oh, Captain, Command, whatever your title may be, your men are dead. Passage the prime materials to mine.
Oshrin, with determination in his eyes. And I guess I'm not sure if Uthron would see this, takes a moment of pause as the water weirds that Oshrin, has spawned somewhat disperse, and half in an effort to cover up what those water weirds are doing, and half to perhaps get the last say. The Fishman says the following as the water weirds collect the fallen, as Fishman gave the command to take them away. A silence may impose on my comrades' laughs, their dreams and their stories, but no more will they wake from arduous slumber. A death by duty is one fulfilled, and now their duty becomes mine alone. If not today, then tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then forevermore. If not by me, then by myself in spirit. I will see this through.
And such is the shape of my vengeance upon you, for standing in my way for so long.
And I have no intention to falter.
I curse you to forget your purpose in lost and helpless against the storm.
I need you to roll me a charisma saving throw, please.
All right. I believe that is an 18. Hang on, sorry, let me double check. Sorry, even higher. That is a 20.
21. It is not quite enough. You feel as if you are not able to fight against this magic, this deep and ancient magic. There's enough fight in you that you are almost able to compartmentalize some part of the effect, to block it off, to almost hide yourself in the back of your mind. But other than that, you feel yourself being torn away from you, and your physical form is being just sent through existence into outside of the plane of water and into some new realm, and you immediately find yourself with no memory at all of who you are, in a bed, on a ship, a spider like creature upon your shoulder with the brain at its center, and an elf arcing electricity up above you.
All right. Can Oshrin please?
Who is Oshrin?
Yeah, true.
You have no recollection of this name?
Can, I guess, this being who doesn't quite know who they are give in to almost primal instinct and simply just pull this thing off his shoulder, firstly?
Roll me an athletics check.
Now, just to double check, is this based off Fishman stats or
This is
Oshrin
based
stats?
off Fishman stats.
Cool. And it was an athletics?
Yes.
Excellent. That's a 19.
19. Okay, you are able to pull this thing out of your shoulder. It does hurt. You are going to take 24 points of piercing damage as the claw rips out of you, but it is out of you. Alton, you are preparing your electric arc, and do you release it into the creature?
Is the creature held securely? Did he fling it off?
It appears to be.
Okay. So he kind of
In
changes his
this moment,
trajectory.
it's probably too soon for him to really, because you're prepping it as he's ripping it off. Depends on the moment.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to try to hit it as it gets flung by. And I rolled a 21 to hit.
Certainly hits.
Excellent. So Alton was kind of probably almost looks like he was going to hit Fishman, but then changes the trajectory to hit this thing as it flies by. for 10 points of lightning damage.
Okay. So it is reasonably fried. It is still conscious. And so just clarifying, Fishman, are you holding it or throwing it?
I guess it got whacked out of his hands now, so yeah.
Yeah, that's one way to interpret it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and as it goes flying across the room, it takes 1 point of bludgeoning damage as well. All right. So, yeah, what do you... Oh, actually, there's more than 2 entities at work here, so everyone roll initiative.
Am I at disadvantage because I'm still bugged?
Just everyone in the room. This creature
okay.
doesn't have enough hit points that it's going to necessarily...
Cool.
Yeah.
We can cut me asking then.
And for whatever reason, if Fishman isn't first in initiative, can you just have a quick little scene before it starts?
Yeah. Alton, what was
There
your
won't be
initiative?
any action.
I saw...
I got a 25. So.
25. So Alton is so it's Alton, Fishman, then the creature.
Yes, feel free to have your seat.
But right after this spider-like creature hits the wall, Fishman will frantically look around for something, anything, and finds what looks to be a very nicely looked after quarterstaff beside his bed frame. And he will pick that up and point it directly at Alton and say, "Your aim is poor, but mine is not. It's best you leave now." Because just to clarify, does Fishman have no memories right now?
No memory.
So he won't recognize who Alton is.
Yeah. All right. So with that, Alton, you have top of initiative.
I don't know about that. I hit the thing pretty good. You're right there, Fishman. It's a good job in getting out of that thing, but...
If it is me you are referring to, you are mistaken. Leave, for your sake, whoever you are.
Oh, shit. Memory issues, right?
All right. This is pushing the 6 seconds a bit. So
Yeah, I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
are you taking any actions, or that's purely it while you're in shock?
Can I prepare an attack to attack the creature should it try to go towards Fishman, I guess?
Yeah.
Should it try to attack, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fishman.
Yeah, alright. So Fishman will begin to freeze the air around him. The ground sparkles with frost as a ring expands around him, and without taking his eyes off Alton, will place a hand to where he saw the spider hit the wall and just spread frozen debris in a cone, completely, hopefully, impaling the spider and the very wood itself as he casts Investiture of Ice and does 17 damage to the spider.
Yeah, that is enough to basically freeze it and finish it off.
Yeah, and with a cold glare, he does not repeat what he has said, but he gives you but one more moment. It does look like he is about to react, but he doesn't.
Alton will put away his weapons, making like slow, careful movements.
Good job taking that out. Fishman, you don't remember anything right now.
I do not.
You
If
don't
I
know.
am who you are claiming I am.
See, I need to let you know you're in safe hands. I don't know the extent to which you have these issues of memory, but this is something that's happened before, you've told me.
I have never met you.
Well, we've met. We worked on the same crew together. I'm the medic of the crew. You're the navigator. We're getting into some weird things at the moment. I probably wouldn't look out the window if I were you.
You see for a moment Fishman's glance away from you, almost past you, and then straight back to you. No response.
So the name Polaris doesn't ring any bells? What about a big quest to slay a dragon turtle?
I mean, does Dragon Turtle...
Dragon Turtle
any-
rings a bell. Actually, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Can I choose to fail? If it brings back more memory than I would like.
I'll give you disadvantage on it
All right.
if you want to lean towards failing.
I would like to lean towards failing. It's a 12.
A 12. So there are vague memories, like almost as if it's pulling on something hidden in the back of your mind that you have no access to.
You see at the mention of the dragon turtle, the slaying of the dragon turtle, that there is almost like a popped vein appears up against the temple, against his head, and a sudden shock, but then back to absolute resolution and absolute focus on you. And Fishman says, "That thing, am I to believe that you had nothing to do with that thing?" As he lowers his hand from up against the wall, or towards the wall, back down, and grabs his crossbow.
You can believe what you like, but I give my word. I've been running around trying to take out those things. Look, they even had one of them attack me, myself.
See, and he like pulls down like the side of his shirt to show that like there's the same kind of wound on his shoulder that you yourself would have.
Nasty little fuckers. They seem like they make you put you back into the past or something.
See, especially when you said it was a nasty little fucker, you see him kind of smirk a little. He doesn't know why, and at the same time, once he does fasten his crossbow to himself, you see him notice that his face is wet. But again, it does not look like he knows why. And then he says, "Then I have no quarrel with you. I'm sorry. I'm sure that you were nice. And it sounds like you do know me, but you do not." And he will bolt out the door if he can, please.
All right. Elsewhere on the ship, Janice, where were you heading?
To the Wren's room. So luckily the door is already open. Because luckily the door is already open. So he skids in, looks around, and can he see the weird little crab thing?
You can.
Oh, Shognash. And he just barrels forward and he's gonna punch the thing off for it.
Okay. All right.
Alan didn't say anything had to be done. He said, "No, that's fine."
Roll to hit.
Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me.
For roll a 1, I'd punch you to death. Okay, that is, hang on. What's my arm stroke? That's +9, that's insane. That's a 27 to hit.
27 definitely hits.
So I believe that, hang on, arm stroke, that's 6 bludgeoning damage.
6 bludgeoning damage. Okay, so it takes 6 bludgeoning damage. And Loren, your, 13, 14-year-old self feels a twinge in your shoulder, as if a spear or a trident has stabbed into it and has just been moved. When we last left you, your cousin basically just gone like, we shouldn't see each other anymore.
Yep.
Left you.
Yes, so Loren is still sitting on the glass her magic made of the beach, and she feels this stabbing pain. Is it on her left or right shoulder? Just curious.
On the right.
Okay, cool. So, yes, that's the same side where she currently can't see. So she has this moment where she genuinely, in the midst of just sobbing and like just being 13 and wretched, there's snot on her face, this is the worst day of her life. She genuinely, in this moment, thinks she is dying because there's just pain coming out of nowhere now. So she rips at her shoulder and starts calling out, I am here, come back, Dad, please.
And
Ren! Dad?
you hear the voice, the at the moment unfamiliar voice, and you feel the pain ripple through your shoulder, throughout your upper body, and almost collapse into yourself, and you look down and see your reflection in the glass. Or at least that's what you expect to see. What you actually see is an older woman. There's a resemblance to yourself, but she's conscious. She has a strange spider-like creature grasping onto her shoulder, and you can see a change occurring upon her, as a change that looks familiar to how a particular change feels as someone takes over in the present.
In this moment, before what is about to happen happens, a young Loren looks down and sees an older woman, similar to her, changing, and just says, Mom, is it really you? And then I'm assuming it all goes black as...
Yeah. So you are... It's weird. It's almost like you are back to an awareness of the present, but at the same time you are that little girl stuck on the beach of glass, looking out onto your reality through the reflections in the glass as she takes over.
Oh boy.
So I need initiative from Janice, Loren, and the creature.
Hurry up. Gonna use some noodles.
So 15 for Janice.
This would be our current Loren, like level 12
Yes.
Loren's stats,
Yes.
yeah?
Yes.
That's an 18.
Okay.
And-
So it is Loren, Janice, creature. Loren, what does she do? The entity within.
Ooh, okay. So I'm assuming the siren in a weird way has also just experienced this memory.
Yes.
Like she has also just experienced the time where she was nearly rent asunder from the body she
Yes.
inhabits. Okay, cool. She vaguely remembers who Janice is. She does not give a shit right now. This thing is still in her shoulder,
Yes.
and Janice has just punched it. Okay.
And that hurt it, but it also hurt you,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
So that take 2 points of piercing damage just from the thing jiggling around in the wound.
Okay.
Loren, he calls out as he sort of swings his fist back again in his seconds.
She, in this moment, grabs the brain thing with one hand and reaches up and grabs Janice's fist, and in response is going to say, she's not in right now. And I'm going to twin spell Witch Bolt both of them.
Okay.
I'm just going to do a basic level, which I believe is
So
first level.
First level to 1d12. Janice, you do have resistance to this because it is lightning.
Yeah. So I roll to hit, and I'm assuming I rolled twice because I'm also hitting the little guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so little guy was a 15 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit.
Janice is a 27.
I assume that would hit as well.
That hits, yeah.
Yeah.
That was cocked. So, do they both take the same damage? Or am I
no.
rolling separately? Janice takes 1 point of damage, which I'm assuming does nothing because it's halved for him.
Yeah, so it's still 1.
Yeah.
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 Okay, and then little critter's gonna take
Half the
3.
round up. Okay. 3 for the little critter. Okay.
Okay, so that is her action. Oh, I have so many sorcery points. Oh my goodness. So then that is her action. And then as a bonus action, I'm going to expend another 2 sorcery points. And I am going to do Prestidigitation as a bonus action. And in front of Janice's face, I'm going to just light up like a shark made of fireworks that just goes to snap at him to try and distract him and send him reeling.
Okay.
Is her intention.
All right. Okay. I mean, that is probably more the domain of minor illusion, but you have that as well. So, so that is your go. Janice, there are 2 tethers of lightning coming from Loren. One of them coursing through to you, the other coursing through to the creature.
Oh, great Shognesh! Go back to sleep. I need the other one right now. And hang on, I'm just thinking. I need the other one right now. Okay. And then his voice, you need to know your place. And bonus action, he's going to, this cracking, shifting as he goes into his were-shark hybrid form, stretches up 7 meters tall, claws extended, and he's going to try and throw himself forward at this creature, this siren, and tackle her. So it's essentially a grapple. I assume a disadvantage because of the lights that are flashing in his face.
Yeah, I'll say so. So that is an athletics check from you versus either an athletics or acrobatics from Loren.
Okay. So it's actually only a 15 for athletics.
Well, Loren's acrobatics is a +2, and that's a 13. Total 13.
So we are just locked. So Janice tries to tackle her, but I assume the strength of this siren, as the sort of chaotic energy manages to start pushing up and surging towards her. He just probably catches one of her hands or her claws, and they're just locked in place.
Oh yeah. She growls in your face. All her teeth are like yours. Every tooth is pointed, but her canines that are always pointed are extended, almost like vampire fangs. And both eyes are black scleras with just glowing blue irises. And you can see the green from her ears just seeping down her face, taking over.
So, next is the little creature. It's going to feast on its prey. It's going to bite at you, Loren. That is... Let's see. That is only a 9, though, so that's probably going to miss.
That does miss.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not armored right now?
No. So it'd just be...
11.
Yeah. All right. And then it's going to try to feast on your timeline, so roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Absolutely, I can do that. Also, sidebar, how much temp HP do I get again in this form?
I believe it was 5 times your level.
6, so 5 times 12. I'll add that in a second. Wisdom save.
Okay.
One of my worst ones, a 14.
14. Okay, so you take the full 13 points of force damage.
15.
And you have disadvantage on your next action. All right. So it is back to your go as the siren.
Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly add my 16 temp HP. Beautiful, love that. And then take the 13 damage. So Loren is well, not Loren. Yes, Loren? The siren is locked in this grip with Janice baring her teeth at him, and this creature thinks its little feelers even further into her, and she kind of does this kind of half scream with 100 voices, which Janice, you feel kind of tickling at your mind, but not fully, not yet, not the way you know it can do. She is going to use her action to maintain Witch Bolt, which means you're both going to take another d12 of damage. I don't have to re-roll the hit. So Janice, you take 8 halved.
With 4 points of lightning damage.
Yep. And the little guy takes another fucking 8. So yeah, 8 points fully to the little brain. And she's you haven't seen her be like this for long before, but it's deeply, deeply animalistic. Even more so than normal, there is something. The siren is always chaotic. At the moment, there is something feral. She's scared. She has been reminded of something that has terrified her. And she almost lets you come in closer, pulling her grip back until you're towering over her, this shark against this small, not quite human face. And she sort of growls at you. What if I just never give her back? What if this is her now? What are you gonna do? Kill your best friend? Or are you too much of a coward to bite the bullet? That's my turn.
So nothing with the bonus then?
No,
Yep.
Her bonus is to cause emotional damage to Janice in the moment.
Yep. All right. Janice, it's your go.
So Janice does sort of recoil slightly. His arms are still flexing, trying to hold this creature in place. And he bares his big wide maw, bares his teeth, and his eyes flash. These bright, glowing eyes at his shark face. And he's like, "That isn't your choice to make. You cannot keep her no more than she can keep you. Stand down. We have bigger fish to fry." And then he's going to, not as an action, but like he's going to almost shove her to the side with the hand, with his other hand, like a backhand, as he's going to lunge forward and snap on the little crab, snapped his jaws down on the crab creature. He's not being careful whether he bites her as well.
All right, roll me a bite attack.
Okay, that is, I think that's a +9. So a 15 to hit.
15 suddenly hits, so roll me the damage.
All right, so that's, hang on, 2d10 plus 5.
If he's not being careful, does he bite me as well?
I think that is a tasty choice.
15 beats my armor class.
Yeah, so
It's
half of this
12
damage,
pointage.
so
Oh,
6 points carry through to Loren as well. As you bite through and eviscerate the rest of this creature, grazing Loren's shoulder with your teeth as you pull up.
He wrenches his head back, throws his head back, and swallows it.
Loren. Oh no, you're already a shape changer. So I was gonna ask you to. Actually, no, you probably should because it's a different thing. So roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, I forgot about this part, actually. I was just... Oopsies.
I don't like the sound of this.
A con save.
Yeah, you're a sorcerer. You should be good at these.
I also have proficiency.
Yeah, that's why you should be good at them. What did you get?
A 10!
All right, noted. All right, so, okay, so we're gonna drift elsewhere as we deal with that kind of, because I might need to deal with the repercussions of that between sessions. But a moment with Galut. So you are on, or Sexor, you're in front of your men, preparing for battle, preparing for the hordes of undead and insurrectionists that will be charging towards the city. The cultists of Conrad, this false god, this at best fledgling god. And again, you get this feeling, much like the other day, of as if there's something wrong. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Slightly better. Saving?
Yes.
That's a 19.
19. You realize what is wrong, what was wrong, and at the same time, why you felt as if Loomis had disappeared. And it's that you recall that moment where you saw Loomis die in front of you, where you will see Loomis die in front of you, and you're suddenly aware of a pain in your left shoulder, and that you're not where you should be.
In this consciousness of where he is and him knowing that something is wrong, is he still in front of his men?
Yes, yes.
I think there's this moment, this shuddering, where he falls almost slightly, and maybe one of the men come to him and help him up a little bit, and he shoves them aside and snarls slightly in this guttural, weird sound that, you know, is not necessarily irregular for a bugbear, but is something that I don't think he has made before in this form. He's usually quite measured, especially around his men. And there's this moment, and he... Jesus, that didn't roll well. Yeah, okay. He looks around himself, panicked.
What traitor, what nonsense do the usurper gods play at this time?
He feels the agony coursing through him. Sorry.
I was going to say, the guy you pushed over gets up and says,
Sexor, it was not me. It is not me, I'm sorry. Oh, they are all fools. We will all die. This isn't right. This isn't.
And he can he feel what he feels in the present?
Yeah, so you can feel there is something on your shoulder digging into you.
But can he feel everything else?
Yes.
I think there's this wave that hits him all of a sudden, like the one concentrated area of pain was almost too distracting for him to notice, but then it rolls over him like a slow nausea, this juddering, creeping, constant pain in every part of him. He can feel, and he looks down at himself and he can see himself, but it feels like every limb that he has is twisted and melded and shifted wrong. But when he looks at himself, he isn't. He's right, but he knows that this isn't right, that where he is isn't real. And where he can, he kneels to the ground and begins to sob. I can't go back. No. And he's juddering on the ground.
All right. So, Neris, you've woken up on the spirited gull. What do you do? You were covered in this explosion of sand. Little bits of viscera around from the spider-like creature.
Quick check around the room. Is anything out of place? Are there any other
Roll me an
creatures or
investigation check.
entities? Investigation is 17.
17. Doesn't seem to be anything like any other creatures.
Okay. And nothing seems out of place from what I can tell.
Nothing out of
Like
place.
a quick look around the room.
This is the day after the very busy day. This is how everything was laid out at that point in time when you went to your rest.
You mentioned the ship was quiet. Is that seemingly devoid of sound of life, or
Not so much devoid of sound of life, just a matter of like placing it in the timeline. You're starting to hear now like bits and pieces of sounds of movement in the distance.
so it wasn't a completely silent ship? Like there was still noise of the ship itself.
Yeah. Yes.
Then as Neris wakes, comes to his senses and notes that he's not in direct, immediate danger from his current vicinity. He'll just try and listen a little bit, hear where the closest noise is coming from outside of his room, and will just grab his satchel that he very carefully placed next to his bed, as he does every night, and collects himself, kind of cracks his neck a little bit, looks back at this creature that was on the ground, that was attached to him. I think he's going to make for the door, but then very quickly kind of turn around and just scoop up a little bit of that sand in a vial. Just pop a stopper on it, pop it on his desk, and then hurry out and try and find the closest team member.
Okay. I think that's the image we're going to leave on for this week. With everything kind of scattered to the wind. A fishman running away from Alton, Janice fighting against the force that is the siren of Loren, while Loren herself is trapped within her own mind, and Galut stuck between two worlds and two times, and I guess knowing that he's not supposed to be where he is, but not wanting to go either because he knows, where it should be. Not great.
Things aren't okay for Galut right now. Anywhere that Zexor or Galut is not okay.
It's very much a lesser of two evils moment for Zexor/Galut at the moment. Anyway.
They're having a great time.
Yeah.
Tune in next session for the free-for-all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It'll be
PvP,
For our
baby.
battle royale.
Battle Royale time. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Thank
See
you
you
for
for the
listening,
Battle Royale
folks.
session.
Thank you for listening,
Bye.
folks. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
What a way! What a culmination to season 2.
Yeah,
Like,
so we
The
got going on
climax,
there.
the climax of the final arc of season 2 basically all out chaos and PvP.
Yep. Everything goes wrong. The musical. Audacity.
Yeah.
Everything is not awesome.
Everything's cool when you're part of a team. When you're not, well, it's not so much.